Welcome back to yet another interesting session with B-GHUD. I'm Elizabeth Annie Sleva, and today here we are to discuss some phrases that we come across in IELTS across the modules. And to discuss these phrases with us, I have here Mr. Abraham Burgess.
Hello, namaskaram.
Who was in London for 45 years, and therein he worked as a barrister. Right, so the next one is something that deeply resonated with you, because when we were discussing this prior hand, you wanted it to be part of the video. Curiosity and inquisitiveness.
Curiosity and?
Inquisitiveness.
Yes. You see, it is looked upon sometimes very negatively. Curiosity, you peeping into something that you shouldn't be. You looking at the radio and undoing the valve and taking out the plug and examining it. Seeing what your mother is cooking in the kitchen and how she is doing it. What's it interfering with your sister or brother just to irritate them to find out what they are doing. That kind of curiosity has some constructive parts to it. But curiosity doesn't stop all there. It can be a negative factor because you're looking into somebody else's affairs, which many people don't like. You might decide to open a letter that belongs to somebody just because he happens to leave it on his desk or on a table. Well, that is very, very, very bad manners. It is not acceptable. But it is curiosity that drives you. Equally, inquisitiveness of what is important, what is actually troubling you, can be started by curiosity, and you find out something which you then build upon, and you realize that there might be a product at the end of this, something that is useful, and you start actually being more and more curious about the subject matter, which means that you are looking at how to improve it, what to do, the people you have in mind for its purchase, the markets that you're thinking about, and so on. Okay? So that is the part of curiosity that is fairly wide. It has both a positive and a negative side. The positive side to me is often the case once you've gone past a certain age of really interfering with your brothers or sisters or your friends or whatever else. It's where you start using your education, or which has developed into knowledge to a certain degree once you have actually gone and acquired a university degree of some kind. And there you are trying to be constructive. In other words, you're saying, right, what should I really want to do? Do I want to become a lawyer? Do I want to go into administration? Because it's too late now for me to start applying and doing medicine or doing engineering. I have had to make a decision at an early age, which is very, very, very sad indeed, and too demanding for a young person. But the decision hasn't been made unless you're prepared to sacrifice a few years to start again. Then it's not worth it. Okay? You can go into so many other dimensions of work which have opened out throughout the world. Okay? In the past, agriculturists used to be numerous in number. The farmers used to be even greater compared to, obviously, to the agriculturists, that is the landowners. And they got afraid that new machinery would replace everything. But the inventions that came out replaced them from that job of being farm laborers to actually being mechanics. And one farmer looks after hundreds of acres of fields of produce through these machines. Now, to house the machines, to maintain the machines, to repair the machines, all that requires labor. So that labor has transferred itself from being as a worker or a tiller in the farm to being a mechanic, or electrics, or anything else, plumbing. Okay? It has just shifted the requirements that nature wants or life expects of us, which is a natural changeover. And that happens every generation. We think, oh my God, how can the youngsters today hear that kind of music? Look at them, look at them, look at the way they dress. Well, you weren't very much different when you were young, okay? And your parents will tell you, well, shut that Elvis Presley, sound out of the system. I'm fed up of it. Many of us thereafter think that there's no better music than Yesudas and composer like Vailar. But you hear quietly some of the music coming out from the youngsters today, and it is heartrending. It is so beautiful. It's a different voice, nuanced voice, and yet it hits the tone of your heart and your mind and your soul in the same way as the earlier music did. Okay? So, yes, curiosity, and all that has been invented by curiosity. But, they also said that curiosity killed a cat. So, you've got to be careful about how far it leads. What is the second part of that?
Inquisitiveness.
Inquisitiveness. Well, inquisitiveness is actually a negative characteristic. It's closely associated with curiosity. Inquisitiveness is just being nosy. That's what they say. But being nosy in a constructive way also leads to the same results as curiosity. Because inquisitiveness means you are inquiring, looking into, you're checking out what will happen if I get this also. What will happen if I add this also? Will the bubble burst? Will the balloon burst? Will the chemistry lab get into flames? Will the flask that I'm using blow up? What will the fumes look like? And then once you have leveled yourself out on that, you start looking for the next step. God, yes, that has come out. So I take down the combination of that, the chemistry of that, and see what else happens. And that is how today we have got medicines of all sorts, inventions, contraptions of all sorts, medicine as such, with surgery, with eyes, with scopes, with artificial methodologies of doing heart operations without man's likelihood of a mistake, are all there and created by curiosity, created by inquisitiveness. Okay? And you find sometimes inquisitiveness is people saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And those questions, those answers to those questions lead on to saying, yes, I find that interesting. I'm going to do this. So there is a lot of, there's a great nexus between curiosity and inquisitiveness. And I hope you find that both of them can be very constructive, both of them start off being very negative.
Right. So Pandora combined with critical thinking is something that is
Yes,
encouraged.
okay.
Thank you.
No problem.